Barcelona was humiliated in front of all of Spain. What kind of mess did the referees create in the Catalans match? Arsenal continues to lose chances for the championship in the Premier League. The London derby against Chelsea ended in a draw. My Zaken is making football history. Yesterday, the forward put on a one-man show in Serie A. The atmosphere in the Real Madrid dressing room continues to be electrified. The media is writing about the conflict between Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius, and a disgraceful in all senses exit of Inter Miami from the 1/8. We're discussing this and more today. Friends, this is Dose of Football and the top 10 hottest news to this hour. Like today, new video tomorrow. And of course, guess what? 3-4. I wish you a pleasant appetite and a pleasant viewing. What was Florentino Perez hoping for when he bypassed the transfer of the central defender this summer? On the fact that Eder Militao and Anton Rudiger will pull through the relocated season? The Brazilian, after all, was injured in the last draw, and almost all the time Nacho replaced him. Did the president really think that nothing like this would happen with Militao anymore? It appears to be true. If not, he would have signed a replacement for Nacho, who left. At least someone who could. But there is simply no such footballer in the main team of Real Madrid. In the match against Osasuna, Carlo Ancelotti played the young Raul Asensio. In the match against Osasuna, Carlo Ancelotti released the young Raul Asensio. He performed well, but will the Italian continue to trust the academy player? Will he put him in the important matches of the season? Considering Ancelotti's philosophy, I have doubts about this. The Italian prefers to work with experienced players. He prefers to coach guys in their 30s rather than 18-year-olds. That's the type of coach he is, if he even signs a center back this winter. But now it's definitely necessary to sign a center back in the winter. The same names are on the list of contenders. The Madrid management likes Marek Laporte. He is valued for his efficiency, experience in the Euro Cups, suitable skills for the team, and also for his Spanish passport. But the Saudi club is not just going to part with its main defender. If they do sell him, it will only be for a fair compensation. According to the source, Perez intends to sign the central defender, but he does not want to pay a lot of money for him. Therefore, the option with the Laporte may not suit him. Also, real scouts are looking at the young Leipzig player Lucas Klostermann. But if the owners are not willing to pay $20 million for Laporte, they are unlikely to agree to spend 4 times more on the French defender. However, they might listen to Goody's advice and sign their old acquaintance, whose transfer won't cost a penny. Ancelotti has a calm face. Need to go to the market. Ramos was left without a team. I clearly see this deal at 0 cost. Last year, he played well for Sevilla, was active, and continues to maintain form. He can help in these 6 months, said the ex-footballer of Real Madrid. I also don't understand why top clubs are so stubbornly ignoring Ramos. Throughout his entire European career, he never gave reasons to doubt his playing abilities, even as his age began to approach 40. Last season, he was the mental leader of Seville and, to be honest, the strongest defensive player. I see no reason why Madrid can't at least try to sign their legend. I like Roberto De Zerbi's approach to motivating Marseille's players. The Italian has his own knack for how he gets his charges to perform on the field. Marseille certainly started in Ligue 1. At some point, it seemed that there would finally be a fight for first place in the French championship. The team from the south of France was almost on par with Paris Saint-Germain. But last season, Marseille was not like that. How did De Zerbi manage to change the psychological settings of his new charges so quickly? There is an answer. The media revealed interesting details about De Zerbi's deeds. During his first training session, the Italian gathered the entire team and explained what sacrifices he made for a place in Marseille. He showed on the projector a contract offer sent from the management of Manchester United. This is the contract they offered me. A contract for several seasons with a salary you can't imagine. I wouldn't be here if I put money above passion, said the Italian on his first day. After which, the Marseille footballers understood what kind of man was before them and were ready to go all out for him. He quickly won the trust of his subordinates. and it showed at the good start of the season. But then the results went downhill. In the last 5 matches, the team has only 2 wins. Moreover, the team mainly loses points at their home stadium. Last time they lost to the mid-table team of Serie with a score of 1-3, after which the team was inevitably hit by a wave of criticism. However, even here, Zerbi didn't give up. He easily brushed off the team's claims and said that the only person to blame for the complicated situation is himself. I don't live for second place, and not even for victory. It's important for me to go beyond the result. If I'm a problem, I can leave. Money doesn't concern me. I seek satisfaction from work. The players know that I'm telling them the same thing. I'm genuine with a single identity. Playing here is a privilege, and you need to have something special, said Zerbi. After such words, of course, the players will want to defend and further their coach. The Italian is a skilled specialist. It's no coincidence that he was ranked among the best teams in Europe last season. To everyone's surprise, he chose to work in Marseille. I think he knew what he was getting into and understood the tools he had to achieve his goals. The Italian will soon find a way out of the micro-crisis that has arisen in the team. I have no doubt about that, and in the end, he will definitely achieve success with it. How is our old bald friend Zinedine Zidane doing? Ready to hear a new batch of news related to the future of French coach Zidane? Zidane hasn't worked since he left Real Madrid, and it's been 3 years. Having won 3 Champions Leagues in a row, the coach still hasn't taken up coaching. He dreams of leading the French national team. It dynamites him every time, continuing to hold on to Didier Deschamps. But once again, clouds are hanging over Didier's head. It all started with the fact that Kylian Mbappe ignored the call to the national team, supposedly due to injury. And 3 days after the announcement of the claim, he went to a La Liga match. Deschamps swallowed the insult to the footballer and refused to call him up for the national team match this time. There, they say, word for word, deed for deed. In short, Mbappe and Deschamps no longer communicate. Rumor has it the conflict with the upcoming underdog has caused other players to express their dissatisfaction with the head coach's work. Now, they are whispering about Deschamps' dismissal in the locker room, wishing to see Zidane as the head. He's not opposed to it, having awaited such a chance for a long time. He even turned down Real Madrid's job offer at the last minute. I hope to make it onto the French national team's bench. In short, if the federation's leadership is considering a change of coach, they have a great candidate. But the national team representatives have not yet commented on the appointment of a new coach. All in all, they are unlikely to react to the latest rumors. Even when it becomes clear to the public that Disha is about to be fired, the Federation will continue to deny it until the end, saying something in the spirit of, "We respect the head coach and continue to believe in him and the project." Nevertheless, I think that Disha's era in the French national team is coming to an end. But how much longer can this go on? During the European Championship, his team competed with the England team in who could play more boring football. I don't understand why they decided to keep him after such a dull performance. The team had only one decent stretch throughout the entire tournament. This is the beginning of the first half against Spain, and the rest of the time they just coasted. Considering the resources France has, they should be playing more captivating football. Real Madrid fans criticized Mbappe's behavior. After the 4th goal, he didn't even celebrate. He sulked and went to the center circle, but his reaction was understandable. In terms of moral feelings, Mbappe must feel awful. He hasn't been scoring for a long time now, but his partner Vinicius stands out with his head actions. And here, Osasuna didn't even try to resist. Despite opportunities, Mbappe failed to score against her, and he is responsible for not capitalizing on those moments. They even put him on a comfortable flank, but he couldn't show himself there either. He hit the ball straight into the goalkeeper once. And the second time, he couldn't even get past the defender. The other Madrid players enjoyed themselves, with Vinicius scoring a hat-trick to become the match hero. And Jude Bellingham finally managed to unleash his cannon, having marked his debut goal of the season. It's even hard to believe considering the Englishman's performance in the past campaign, but his move was spoiled by Mbappe's transfer. The Frenchman added to the number of attacking players at Real, and someone had to be sacrificed. The choice fell on the shining Englishman. He only scores on holidays now. But the most offensive thing in this situation is that the Frenchman himself rarely stands out. In fact, not he, but Bellingham, who was shoved to play as a central midfielder when his soul lies in the attacking line, should be offended. Real Madrid fans noticed Kylian's behavior after the fourth scored ball and criticized him. As one user noted, Mbappe couldn't even pretend to be happy, and another stated that the Frenchman hates Vinicius 100%. And there is a reason for that. The Brazilian is such a bright favorite of the stands, and everything works out for him on the field. And Mbappe can't even score a goal. I don't know what the real relationship between the Frenchman and the Brazilian is, but I won't deny the existence of a conflict. Mbappe thinks too highly of himself, acting as if he is the center of the universe. But that's not the case. He was supposed to behave as he promised at the presentation, but it turned out to be the same old, not very nice Mbappe who likes to sulk around and weave intrigues against his partners. Well, it's true, though. In France, he had a conflict with Giroud. At Paris Saint-Germain with Messi and Neymar. So what's stopping him from maturing with Vinicius? Maybe it will come to the point where Florentino Perez will have to choose who is dearer to him. And judging by the latest information, he is more likely to part with the Brazilian than to sell his favorite skull. Aurélien Tchouaméni, let's be honest, is in terrible form right now. Things are so bad that in the match with Milan, his own fans booed him. And the French could have sold him last summer. Liverpool has long been inquiring about the player, and now the moment has come to finally check the deal. In recent days, Tim Tolk from Kauser almost agreed on Hovbeck's transfer in the winter transfer window. The Reds have secured the negotiation rights for the footballer, and they even took advantage of it. Sam Tchouaméni is open to the transfer to reach a new level, and he's struggling in Madrid. Furthermore, his Liverpool triumphs make him appealing for the role. Carlo Ancelotti has approved the transfer. The compensation amount will be approximately £50 million sterling. This transfer is likely to happen in the summer, but Liverpool will do everything possible to close the deal in January. Tchouaméni is primarily taken for his ability as a destroyer. The pace control will remain with Gravenberch, who is unable to handle the workload volumes without the ball. That's why the slot always helps to unload the Dutchman. If Liverpool signs Tchouaméni, it will put an end to Martin Zubimendi's transfer. But that doesn't mean the Spaniard will stay at Real Sociedad. As reported, Manchester City is also interested in the footballer. They see him as a replacement for Rodri. Moreover, Rodri himself told Pep that Zubimendi would be a great choice for the defensive midfielder position. Why not? There are almost no universal quality number 6s like Rodri on the market. Zubimendi knows how to return possession to the team and play with the body. But best of all, of course, he unfolds on the ball. At the same time, Zubimendi is available for just £60 million, thanks to Clausel in his contract. The whole question is whether City can persuade him to move. English sources wrote that Martin was disappointed with his decision to stay in Sociedad, which is in the middle of the table. So most likely, Zubimendi is open to transfer. Although I don't really understand what he will do in City when Rodri returns. After the departure of Thiago Motta, Bologna took a long time to recover. Vincenzo Italiano seemed to be a very promising coach for Fiorentina, but he is not meeting expectations in Bologna. Or not. The team is in the 8th line of the table and is lagging behind last season's schedule. But this was predictable. The club sold its leaders, plus is wasting energy on the Champions League. And even such Bologna still managed to defeat Roma. Ivan Jurjevic's team lost again, this time with a score of 2-3. After such a disgrace, the bosses of the Romans did not pity Jurjevic and kicked him out. After only 12 matches since his appointment, a statement on the Wolves website reads, "We thank Ivan Jurjevic for his diligent work over the past few weeks. He handled a difficult situation with utmost professionalism, and for that we are grateful to him. We wish him all the best in the future." The head coach's briefing has already begun. His name will be announced in the coming days. Interestingly, the match with Bologna seemingly decided nothing. La Gazzetta dello Sport reported the Croatian's absence prior to the game. The club's management was unhappy with the results. In addition, the management knew about the coach's disagreements with some players. From the point of view of results, Jurjevic became the worst coach of the club in the last 20 years. Under him, the team had 4 victories, 5 defeats, and 3 draws. Ivan is not a bad coach. He just came to the club at an unfortunate time, wanted to take a risk, and paid for it. One has to think, now he will have to fight for the midfield again to get a chance to work in a club like Roma. And the coaching seat in Rome will probably be taken by Roberto Mancini. It is him that the club owners, the Friedkin family, want to invite. An alternative option is Claudio Ranieri. It's unknown in what form Mancini is, and whether he even wants to return to work. Considering how much he earned in Saudi Arabia, he simply has no financial reasons for a comeback. Another thing is the desire to prove to everyone that it's too early to write him off. But something tells me that he didn't leave the Italian national team for the East just because of ambitions. Fiorentina has emerged as a top sensation in Serie A. Now the team with a very modest budget is holding in the Champions League zone, all thanks to Raffaele Palladino. The new coach Filoc immediately set a stylish attacking football and assembled a strong team from players who their previous clubs threw out for uselessness. Eduardo Bove, Danila Cataldi, and Yassin Adli have become important cogs, as well as, of course, David De Gea. But at the moment, the Spaniard can be called the best goalkeeper of Serie A. Paladin does not require any tricks from David in the game with his feet. So, pure De Gea is allowed to take out. But how about De Gea? De Gea has been excellent in Serie A, with 5 clean sheets and the best save percentage in the league. Fiorentina beat Verona 3-1 yesterday, with De Gea assisting a goal in the 91st minute. He now has more headed actions in his last 3 games than Kylian Mbappe. Juventus wrote off Moyes, despite Max Allegri's high rating of the Italian player. The issue is solely in character. The forward is stubborn, always has his own way, including on the field, as if he was playing separately from the team. But in Florence, Moyes matured and became a completely different player. Now he is second on the list of Serie A bombers with 8 goals. It seems the choice of club also matters. The forward had louder options, but he wanted to go to Palladino specifically, as he understood that the coach's football would suit him. Kin commented on his successes like this. I expected such a breakthrough. When you find a city like Florence and a passionate team that loves you, it's hard to play poorly. I was underestimated. It motivates. Paladin has beautiful ideas that he immediately put into our heads. We like them. His football uncovers forwards. I saw this on Monza. He hooked me even then. According to the index, Kin is third after Mbappe and Append, a top league dribbler among teenagers. Give him the ball, the final third, and he will do the rest himself. Yesterday, Kin simply tore Verona apart. All 3 goals are his. And yet, after Juventus, many were already saying, that's it, there will be no Kin. You can see Moise Kean's hat trick on our telecast via the link in the description and in the pinned comment. If you want, go ahead. If you don't want to, don't go ahead. Manage your own lives. Arsenal continues to distance itself from the top spot. The Gunners failed to score against Chelsea yesterday. Both teams played differently. The outcome, in my view, was as fair and just as possible. Both sides fought and showed great football, but couldn't overcome the opponent. Well, yes, Mikel Arteta stated after the match that Arsenal dominated, thereby providing material for corresponding memes once again. Chelsea really wants to highlight Marco Cucurella. Bukayo Saka turned out to be a kryptonite for the Spaniard due to previous eye matches. But yesterday, the defender simply ate one of the best wingers at the moment. Casemiro was omnipresent and flawless in his performance with and without the ball. This isn't the Ecuadorian's first such game. He improved after the criticism of last season and is now finally earning the 100 million euros paid for him. Pedro Neto scored a great goal. He broke down and put it in the corner from an Enzo Fernandez pass. Kai Havertz scored against his former club and celebrated epically. But his goal was disallowed due to a slight offside. The German had a challenging day yesterday, injuring his head in a one-on-one for the 2nd consecutive match. Havertz had to leave the field during the match with Inter. But yesterday, he clearly showed everyone that he is ready to continue. Kai didn't even want to seek medical help, but the yellow card quickly changed his mind. Arsenal played well, but the team seemed to struggle between playing top-notch and maintaining the score, which worked out so well for them last season. Moreover, Arsenal lacks new ideas. With the exception of the fresh and newly arrived Calafiori, the Gunners are playing just like they did last season. And all the competitors have updated. Even Manchester City, where Pep Guardiola began testing a scheme with 3 10s, Arsenal goes into the international break 9 points behind the first place. With all due respect to Arteta's band, the championship chances are fading. Now, the bookies give more than 4 odds on the Gunners' title. Inter Miami footballers, to put it mildly, did not behave well in the match against Atlanta United. As soon as it got heated, the Inter players started to get nervous and turned into hooligans from the back streets. They constantly provoked their opponents from Atlanta, pushed them and fouled them. It was unpleasant to watch this. From a moral standpoint, they disgraced the defeat and were kicked out of the playoffs. It was a pity only for Messi, who tried to create a scoring moment for his partners and behaved quieter than water, lower than grass against the rest of the players. But his former partner from Barcelona and now from Inter Miami, Jordi Alba, was not ashamed at all, as if he had been branded with the stigma of disgrace from the very beginning. When the match ended with Miami losing, Alba threw himself at the referee, as he had allowed himself too much. While the main referee was going to the tunnel, the footballer was shouting that he had judged like complete crap. Not understanding why, after such outbursts, the referee didn't turn around and show Alba a red card. It was necessary to hand his case over to the disciplinary committee to suspend him for several matches for inappropriate behavior. Ideally, the referee should have sent off a couple of players during the game in Miami. How can their behavior after the second goal be explained? Yes, Brad Gazan wanted to hold on to the ball for a while, but that's a common practice in games where too much is at stake. Messi eventually took the ball, then Campagna came up and shoved the Atalanta goalkeeper in the back. The poor guy got tangled up in his own net. At that moment, Suarez took advantage of the goalkeeper's vulnerability and pounced on him. If I were the referee, I would have given Campaign a red card for unsportsmanlike behavior. Furthermore, I would have given Suarez a yellow card. But the referee, surprisingly, was silent. He gave the Miami players too much leeway in that match. In a way, I'm even glad they were kicked out of the cup. I wouldn't want to see such behavior in the following rounds. The leaders of the A series got away with nothing with a score of 1-1. Inter Napoli decided to maximize the intrigue before the international break. There's only a 2-point difference between the first and sixth lines. With the team's current performance, the fierce battle will persist until the end. Lautaro Martinez has disappeared again. The Argentine was invisible in the Napoli match. But Romelu Lukaku, even if he's not in optimal form, still shown. The Belgian, a key player from Zorya Luhansk. The whole game goes through him. Thanks to Romelu's versatility, capable of combining technical tricks with his heavy and unstoppable physique. In Inter, Hakan Calhanoglu managed everyone. He intercepted, dictated the game's pace, distributed precise passes, and shot from afar. It was Hakan who helped the team recover with his miraculous long-range shot. You must watch this masterpiece. By the referee's decision, Registo left Inter without 2 extra points. For the first time ever, Turok and Inter failed to realize a penalty. And in a parallel meeting from the Spanish Championship, a scandal occurred. Barcelona had a clear goal stolen due to an invented offside, which Cabin Kovar drew up. I'm seeing this for the first time. No, I of course observed how they could incorrectly draw the offside line when technology was just being introduced into top championships. I've seen how they determine the position out of play where it doesn't exist. I've seen how they didn't notice obvious 2-meter encroachments beyond the last defender's line. But for the video assistant referee booth to so blatantly falsely record the position out of play, no, that hasn't happened yet. I hope the leadership of Spanish football will somehow react to the stolen ball. How did Barcelona's match against Sociedad go? Robert Lewandowski scored early in the first half after a scramble in the penalty box. The referee pointed to the center of the field. However, he suddenly hesitated and began to consult with video assistant referee. They discussed something for a long time, while the replay of the episode, in which there was no offside or other violations, was being shown on the screen. However, the referee ultimately disallowed the goal and awarded Sociedad a free kick. It was a shock when they showed which leg VAR had fixed the offside on. Look at the picture from the match broadcast. And now look at what the frame from the semi-automatic fixation system looked like in Nigri on VAR. No one was confused by the size of Robert Lewandowski's foot. And the red boot, which is clearly closer to the gates than the green shoe of the pole. Despite the presence of such technologies, referees continue to make mistakes. And this mistake cost Barcelona at least a point. That's all for today. Thank you for watching and for subscribing to the channel. Friends, Dose of Football now has its own show on Radio Shanson America. Link in the description. Well, my name is Kirill Cast, and this was your daily dose of football. Peace to your house and Johanga, friends.